the video cut off on me, so this is going to be, video is going to be in two parts. I'm not going to redo that last 20 minutes or whatever it was. This is going to be a two-part video. Let's see what we got this with this wild berry. Oh yeah, that's delicious. The wild berry, at least in my opinion, is too sweet. It's much sweeter than the other three drinks, the Monster Rehabs. It's much sweeter than the green tea, the tea and lemonade, and the peach. So that's why I don't, that's the main reason I don't care for it too much, but it still keeps me hydrated all day, one of these cans, and I can say the same for this wild berry. That's good. It's good stuff. Well, when I was back in the camper last evening, I went into YouTube to check out the meteorologists, what they have to say about the weather today, so I can be prepared when I'm out doing deliveries. So I know what to expect from the weather. And I checked out at least 3 YouTube videos so I can figure out what kind of weather I'm going to have in Tampa this Thursday, July 30th. And the first YouTube I checked out was 10 Tampa Bay News, and this YouTube was uploaded 2 days ago, Tuesday, July 28th, and it featured meteorologist Bobby Deskins. Bobby says coastal temperatures are hitting higher temperatures compared to inland locations due to west winds off of the Gulf of America, where waters are staying in the high 80s, even overnight, with humidity being as high as 76%. He compared feels-like temperatures in many cities around here in Central Florida and along the coastline. And he said as of 11 p.m. this evening, which was Tuesday, Tampa was still at 93 degrees. Riverview, Florida was at 96, and St. Pete was even hotter at 98 degrees. And this was almost going into midnight Tuesday night, so it stayed quite warm Tuesday night going into Wednesday as a result of warm winds blowing in off of the Gulf of America and the humidity being so high. And he also included Sarasota in that report. Sarasota was at 94 degrees. Bobby Deskins went on to say that a heat advisory is in place for Citrus County and to the east, covering portions of Florida going towards Orlando, Florida. He didn't express this in the YouTube video, but it's my understanding that heat advisories are in place when feels like temperatures are above 108 degrees here in Tampa. That figure varies from parts of the country, one part of the country to the next, because when there was a heat advisory up in Fairbanks, Alaska, but it was issued because the feels like temperature was up over 85 degrees. So it depends on what part of the country you're in, I guess. That doesn't make sense to me, but that's the way it works from what I can gather. And then Bobby Deskins went on to say we can expect a 70% chance of rain today in Tampa, Florida, and he said the same for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to have 70% chance of rain today, tomorrow, and through the weekend. He said today is going to be rainy, and we'll see a high of 88 and a low of 81 degrees overnight going into Friday morning. And then I checked out Fox 13 Tampa Bay, and the title of this video was Unfavorable Conditions Keep Things Quiet in the Atlantic, and it featured meteorologist Valerie Mills. And it was uploaded Tuesday, July 28th. Valerie says there is still a lot of dry air, Sahara dust, and strong winds shear, making conditions unfavorable for tropical storm formation out in the Atlantic and for parts of the Caribbean and the Gulf of America. She said, however, as waters continue to warm up, going into August and September, Valerie believes that the Sahara dust air layer will start to break up with these warmer waters because of these waters are warming up and staying warm in the Atlantic. She went on to say, and these waves off of the Africa's west coast will have a greater potential for becoming tropical storms as the year goes on, as we get into further into summer. But for now, there is nothing expected to form for the next 7 days, so that gets us through August 4th. We have no threat of any tropical storm formation through August 4th, according to meteorologist Valerie Mills. She went on to say that tropical storm Fausto in the Pacific Ocean is passing north of Hawaii, bringing rain and high waves to the Hawaiian coast. And then Hurricane Genevieve is not expected to make landfall anywhere out in the Pacific as it moves westward. And it made it to hurricane category 5 level. That's the highest category of hurricane. But thankfully, again, it's not going to make landfall anywhere. That's Hurricane Genevieve. And then another YouTube I checked out was from Fox 13 Tampa Bay. This featured meteorologist Nash Rhodes, and it was uploaded yesterday, Wednesday, July 29th. And the title of this one was No Tropical Formation Through July. And Nash Rhodes says he is keeping tabs on an environment that is not conducive for anything to form in the near future. He said the National Hurricane Center is not expecting any tropical storm formation for the next 7 days. So with this video being uploaded yesterday, that gets us into Wednesday, July 5th with no threat of anything forming out in the Atlantic and potentially becoming a hurricane. He went on to say and explain that this is largely due to the Super El Nino happening in the Pacific that is creating hostile upper level winds, preventing any storms from forming. And he also included the Saharan dust is playing a role in this too, making the upper atmosphere very dry and keeping much rain from falling out in the Atlantic. And that's what storms need. They need warm waters and a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and the Saharan dust is preventing that from happening. Then he went on to talk about the average dates for each of the named tropical storms that we're expecting and have had already here in the Atlantic. We've already had Arthur and Bertha. He explained that the average A-named storm for the Atlantic hurricane season, the average date of an A-named storm is June 20th, and the average date for the B-named storm in the Atlantic hurricane season is July 17th. And the average C name happens on August 3rd. Well, that might be the case, but if that's the case, that might be the case, like I said, but if that's true, if those averages are correct, what he put out there, we've had a very active not talking about this year, but the last 6 years, the prior 6 years have been very active. He said the average A named storm happens on June 20th. Well, all of these A named storms from the last 6 years, 2020 through 2025, all happened before June 20th. The least active last 20 years was 2024, when Tropical Storm Alberto was formed June 19th, and that was before the average date of June 20th, and all the rest were well before that. So we've had a very active last 6 years of hurricanes. And I can say the same for the B name storms. He said the average B name was July 17th. Well, all of these dates from the last 6 years are all well before July 17th. You got to, we had Barry last year. We had Barry on June 28th. Beryl in 2024 on June 28th. Brett was in 2023, June 19th. July 1st of 2022, we had Bonnie. And then 2021, June 14th, we had Bill. 2021 was Bill. 2020, May 28th, we had Bertha. So it might be true, but on average, if you just look at the last 6 or 7 years, you would have to push those dates all much sooner in the year. But that's what I found. That's what grabbed my attention. And like they predicted, this has been a very inactive and calm hurricane season, because we should have our C named storm already brewing out in the Atlantic and being formed, starting to get formed now, because the average is August 3rd. So I hope this trend of a calm 2026 Atlantic hurricane season persists through the rest of the year, because it only takes one storm to create a lot of damage. But if we have fewer storms this year, the probability of that is much less likely. And you got to like that. Well, here goes all the trips I completed yesterday. I started out the day on Wednesday, July 29th, picking up a Wawa order for Isabella. Isabella fare was $2, and she tipped me $4 and a penny. So I made $6.01 for delivering Isabella's Wawa order. Thank you so much for that generous tip, Isabella. I really appreciate you. Then I went on to pick up trips 2, 3, 4, and 5 for Julio, Annalie, Gio, and Susie. Julio tipped me $3.64 for picking up a Wawa order from East Fletcher. Annalie tipped me $6.40 for picking up coffee from the Starbucks on East Fletcher. Gio was trip 4. Gio was very generous, tipped me $8.10 for picking up box of Cubans on Donna Michelle. And then Susie was trip 5. Susie tipped me $4 for picking up Einstein Brothers Bagels on Bruce B. Downs. Thank you so much for those generous tips, Susie, Gio, Annalie, and Julio. I appreciate you. You were all very thoughtful, kind, and generous. Then I went on to pick up trips 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 for Nestor, Athie, Frank, Angelica, and Juan. Nestor tipped me $9.82 for picking up their Super Taquino and Tasty Thai on Flagship Drive. Athie tipped me $2.73 for picking up Blazie's Pizza on Waters Avenue. Trip 8 was for Frank. Frank tipped me $4.16 for picking up their pizza from Pizza Hut on West Hillsboro. Trip 9 was for Angelica. Angelica tipped me $5 for picking up Alo Cubanismo on North Hesperades. And then Juan was trip 10. Juan wanted Starbucks coffee from Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard. Juan tipped me $4.84. Thank you so much for those tips and fares I got from you, Juan, Angelica, Frank, Athie, and Nestor. I appreciate the 5 of you. You're all very thoughtful, kind, and generous. Thank you so much for your business also. Then I went on to pick up trips 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 for Lolita, Chris, Mason, James, and Brian. Lolita tipped me $3.64 for picking up Panera Bread on Martin Luther King. Chris tipped me $7 for picking up Monserrate Restaurant and Bar on West Hillsboro. Mason tipped me $3 for picking up Maple Street Biscuits on Northdale Mabry. James was trip 14. James tipped me $6.37 for picking up Burger Monger on Bruceby Downs. And then Brian was trip 15. Brian tipped me $5.90. Initially tipped me $5.90 for picking up their tacos Los Californias on North Armenia. Then they decided to give me another $4 tip on top of that. I'm not sure why, but I really appreciate that nearly $10 tip, Brian. That was very generous. I'm not sure what I did to earn an increased better tip from you, but I really appreciate that nonetheless. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate you, Brian, James, Mason, Chris, and Lolita. You were all very thoughtful, kind, and generous. After dropping off Brian's Tacos Los Californias order, I went on and finished the day with trips 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 for Reba, Lisa, Callie, Ariana, and Jeremy. Reba tipped me $7 and a penny for picking up their Gulf Coast sourdough sandwich order from North Florida. Lisa tipped me $5.21 for picking up Fresh Kitchen on West Kennedy. Callie tipped me $3 for picking up their Gigi cupcakes on North Neptune. Ariana tipped me $4 for picking up their Guthrie's restaurant order on Dale Mabry Highway. And then Jeremy was my last trip of the day, trip 20. They had an order to be picked up at Cousin Vinny's Sandwiches on West Cass. They tipped me $5.02. Thank you so much for those tips and fares I got from you, Jeremy, Ariana, Callie, Lisa, and Reba. I appreciate all of you. You were all very thoughtful, kind, and generous. Well, I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope you all are having a great week and a fantastic day and are able to get out and enjoy the weather and get some sunshine in like I do every day when I'm out doing my deliveries. God bless you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day and have a great week.